always said, once a giant, always a giant. For me, it's only a giant.
Giants fans, welcome back to another episode of Only a Giant. It's game week, so we got ourselves a little preview podcast here with the Minnesota Vikings against the New York Giants. Obviously, as always, if you could please like and subscribe, I really would appreciate it. With the season finally kicking off here, really hope to help grow the page a little bit here, get these videos out to fans, and provide some maybe just different perspectives that you may not see with all podcasts that are out there. Yeah, guys, here we are though. I'm kind of excited, kind of giddy in a sense here where, we have football on tonight. We have the Kansas City Chiefs, the Baltimore Ravens. We have football tomorrow in Brazil, which I'm not really thrilled with the NFL keeping that game in Brazil, but we do have football. That's the important part. We have football Thursday tonight. We have football tomorrow, and then we have football on Sunday. Obviously, we have some college football mixed in there as well. I'll be watching the Syracuse Orange play Georgia Tech. That'll be a big game. But guys, we're here. It's football season. Man, get excited. I found some numbers earlier about kind of how often we actually get to watch these games, and it's kind of jarring, but I'll bring that up here in a little bit. So let's get right into it, guys. Week 1, New York Giants preview podcast against the Minnesota Vikings. It's a home opener for the New York Giants. The 2023 Vikings were led by Kevin O'Connell, and they did finish 7-10 on the year. Obviously, we're into a new season, a new team, 2024 at this point. Very different team for the Minnesota Vikings, and I'll get into that in a moment. But kind of like the Giants, they dealt with a rash of injuries last year. They dealt with Kirk Cousins going down, I believe it was on Achilles, Justin Jefferson battling injuries, rookie wide receivers, TJ Hawkinson getting hurt, just kind of a lot going on last year for them. So they're in, kind of a similar situation to us, I would say, where they're kind of rebounding, hoping to have a better year this year. They did get their quarterback that they wanted in JJ McCarthy, but obviously he's hurt. So, he will not be starting in this game. So the offense, well, let's do this. Let's take a look at the Vikings offense to start. And last year, they scored about 20.2 points per game, which puts them around 20th in the league. Not bad, not great, but not horrible, definitely. Last year, they had Kirk Cousins as their starting quarterback for a few games, and then Josh Dobbs, Nick Mullins, running backs, Alexander Madison, Cam Akers, Ty Chandler. Wide receivers are roughly the same. Tight end, obviously, they had Hawkinson. He went down. This year, a little bit of a different unit with a quarterback. Obviously, we'll have Sam Darnold starting for the Minnesota Vikings. They'll have Aaron Jones in the backfield, which is weird seeing him in the Vikings uniform this year. That'll be interesting seeing him so long with the Green Bay Packers. Wide receivers are similar, I would say. Tight ends, obviously there'll be backup tight ends. Someone I wouldn't really kind of worry myself with too much. Biggest thing out of this group, I think, just based off of my experience with Sam Darnold, just don't let him beat you. He is a backup quarterback. It's a backup quarterback for a reason. He cannot be the reason that we lose this game. Since he left the Jets in 2020, he's thrown 18 touchdowns and 17 interceptions. Now, the bulk of that was in 2021, where he had some starts with the Carolina Panthers. But then he was a backup quarterback with the San Francisco 49ers and saw limited action there. But really, guys, don't let him be the reason we lose this game. He is a backup quarterback in the NFL. He's a backup quarterback for a reason, like I just mentioned. He's not a good quarterback at this point. Now, if you want to rank him with, being confident in a backup quarterback, as far as like all backup quarterbacks in the NFL, yeah, you probably take him top 5, top 10 to other options, but he is still a backup quarterback. He has Justin Jefferson. He might have Jordan Addison. Those are good weapons that he's going to have in that offense. So really what it comes down to, I think, with this offense is bracketing Justin Jefferson, not letting him get open, get some pressure from our front 7, and make Sam Darnold make quick throws. See that Justin Jefferson hopefully isn't open right away, and he's going to have to look at his other reads and try to find other options. Slow down the run game. Don't let the run game get going, and obviously don't let Sam Darnold get going early and let him get confident. Make sure we're pressuring Sam Darnold all the time. Now, we don't need a blitz. Hopefully Kayvon and Brian Burns can get some pressure and make him uncomfortable early, and hopefully, maybe that makes him have to step up into the pocket, and Sexy Dexy can get some pressures on him, get some sacks. Really, I feel like this almost just comes down to getting pressure on Sam Darnold and not letting him be comfortable at all. Now, might be a tough part of this game plan for a specific reason. Vikings offensive line ranked about third in pass blocking last year. Christian Darrisaw, obviously a stud left tackle. Brian O'Neill is a good right tackle. I'm not going to sit here and say that he isn't, but he's still beatable. We can get around him on the edge. And then Dexter Lawrence up the middle, I think that's more the weaker kind of spot of their offensive line. So if we can just get some pressure on the edge and force him to have to try to step up and deal with Dexter Lawrence in the middle, Rakeem Nunez-Roches, obviously he's not really a pass rushing guy, but maybe we can get some pressure with him. Elijah Chapman, maybe he can get some burn, and just keep him uncomfortable in this game. Overall, the staple of Shane Bowen's defense generally is like a bend, don't break defense. And I'm okay with that, especially in this game. Keep everything in front of you. Tighten up in the red zone and force field goals. That's how you win in the NFL. And that's how you lose in the NFL too. If you're an offense and you're selling for field goals anytime that you get into the red zone. So that's going to be really important in this game. And that maybe is kind of obvious, but that's going to be the key in this game. Force field goals, bend, don't break. Keep Justin Jefferson in front of you, bracket him. I probably think that Bobby Okereke is going to be really important in this game. And I think Shane Bowen's kind of mentioned that in the past too, maybe even in his original presser when we hired him. The inside linebackers are going to have a tall task. They're going to be really important in this defense. Don't let, these silly little plays get open in the middle. And maybe that is one part where it makes me a little nervous with potentially not having Micah McFadden because he's going to be on the field. Now, I do think we'll see a lot of three safety sets. Hopefully Micah McFadden can play. If he can't, then, maybe Musau's in there. But keep things in front of us. Don't get beat deep and kind of cover that short part of the field. Now, does that get you beat over the middle, or maybe more in that middle part of the field, middle to intermediate? I hope not, and I think that's where hopefully the pressure comes in to not let Sam Darnold get to that point of his reads. So if we can kind of keep things in front of us, don't get beat deep, and bracket Justin Jefferson, I think we'll be in a good spot. Key to the offense, guys. We'll talk about the offense next with the New York Giants passing the ball. Offensively, facing Brian Flores-led defense, they ranked 24th against the pass last year and 8th against the run. So really getting the ball out quick. Obviously, you still need to take your shots downfield. That obviously is going to be very important in this Brian Daboll-led offense where he's actually calling plays for the first time officially. But we also had a full offseason, a full preseason training camp of him getting comfortable, finding out what's going to work for him, what he's going to like. So I think it's going to be very different than what we saw last year, the times that he may have taken over play calling. But we really are going to have to pass the ball to set up the run. Obviously, I think we need a heavy dose of running as well. We need to be able to establish drives to where we can do that, where we can run the ball a little bit, get Devin Singletary some carries, get Eric Gray a few carries, get Tyrone Tracy some carries. I think he needs to have 5 to 10 carries in this game. It's going to be a weird split with the running back position. I think it's going to be like 40% Devin Singletary, 35% Tyrone Tracy, and 25% Eric Gray. I think they all need some burn. They all have different parts of the game that they can bring that'll be important. But we really do need to pass the ball to set up the run. Let's get some quick game going. Let's get some screens going, some tight end screens. But don't be afraid to take some deep shots. And I think Daboll will scheme that up. He'll scheme up some easy reads to hopefully get Daniel Jones comfortable, get guys like Darius Slayton and Malik Neighbors going. Obviously, I do think Malik Neighbors is really going to have a heavy involvement in this game. And it's kind of crazy to think a rookie wide receiver is going to be that involved in that heavy as far as the scheme for the New York Giants. But also, he's not just a rookie wide receiver. He's an LSU wide receiver with the likes of Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson and those guys. And also he was a 6th overall pick. Some people thought he was the best wide receiver in the draft. So it's not like just a rookie wide receiver. It's a bona fide number 1 wide receiver coming out of LSU with great bloodlines and ties with LSU. And I think that's not just your normal rookie wide receiver. So I'm okay with it. I think he can handle the load. Don't be afraid to run the ball if things aren't working in the passing game early, though. We do need to establish drives. I think that's very important in this game to get some rest for our defense. It's kind of weird in a sense where I actually feel like the Giants' offensive line isn't really a worry for me. Now, that shouldn't be the case probably, but I do feel like the offensive line is going to be competent. We have all of our starters healthy for once. They did lose a big pass rusher and Daniil Hunter on their defense. So while it's kind of crazy to assume that the offensive line will be competent, I do feel pretty confident in that fact. Pretty crazy, especially from what we've seen in 2022 and 2023. Obviously 2023 being the worst, but I think 2023 was, boy, the worst of the worst of the worst. I don't think I've ever seen an offensive line play as bad as that offensive line did. And guys, if you remember when Daniel Jones was in there, man, I don't care what you want to say. He's not getting the ball out quick enough. He's not doing this. He's not doing that. Guys, people were in the backfield within a second. It was absurd how quick that was. Go back and watch those games. Yes, I'm not going to sit here and say that he is not at fault at all for that. But that offensive line, honestly, was historically bad. I've been watching Giants football since, I don't know, early 2000s, late 1990s. I've never seen an offensive line this dysfunctional, this bad. This offensive line looks like they actually communicate. They seem to be in sync with each other, reminiscent maybe of those, 06, 05, 06, 07 years where maybe they were just kind of getting the flow when Kareem McKenzie got there and Sean O'Hara and Chris Nee. I'm not comparing them to this offensive line, but it seems like they're in sync. They're together. It seems like there might actually be a little cohesiveness with this offensive line that Carmen Bracella brought and is coaching these guys to do. So my guess is it's only going to get better with this offensive line. Are they going to give up some sacks? Yeah, there might be a sack or two. It won't shock me. Are there going to be some pressures? Yeah, there might be, guys. But it's not going to be that dysfunctional offensive line that we saw last year, breaking through within 1 second and having pressure in the quarterback's face and having to try to do anything to make this offense functional. So that's a little bit offense. That's a little bit defense. Obviously, offensively, Malik Neighbors is going to be key. Defensively, in my mind, and this is probably the key to this game, is the front 7 of the defense. Dexter Lawrence, Kayvon Thibodeau, Brian Burns. You are the kind of linchpin of this defense. You need to hold this together. You need to show why you are a top 5 player in this league. Dexter Lawrence, as far as that interior defensive line, and Brian Burns, show the fans why we brought you here. Kayvon Thibodeau, show a little bit more burst. Just be dominant in this game. And I think if the defensive line can be dominant, I'm not saying that we need to come out with 8 sacks or 6 sacks, but be dominant. Get 3 or 4 sacks, 3 sacks, get some pressures. Make Sam Darnold see ghosts. Yes, that's what we need. We need him uncomfortable this game. That's why I think that the whole front 7 is going to be so important. You got Dex, you got Kayvon, you got Brian Burns, you have Bobby Okereke. Like, that's a great freaking unit that we have there. We just need them to show it. We need them to get some pressure, control this game. The defense shouldn't be on the field for 70 plus plays a game like we've seen in the past. I think the offense will be better this year. We can establish some drives. We can score some points. So I really think that front 7 is going to be the key of this game. Don't let Sam Darnold get in a groove, and I think we can win this game. Let's go. Whew. So excited just thinking about it. So, prediction for this game, and I got down a little bit of a rabbit hole with this, so this may be a little bit longer than anticipated as far as like a traditional prediction for a week 1 game. And the reason I did that is because there's some kind of jarring stats with Giants openers since I went all the way back to 2004. It could have even went back further than that. But the Giants since 2004, the New York Giants are 6-14 in openers. 6-14 in openers. That is horrible. On the road in these openers, the Giants are 2-10 since 2004. Home with these openers, the Giants are actually 4-4 since 2005. 2004 was an away home, so an away opener. 2005 was a home opener, so that's why you see the little bit of a difference there. But that's crazy to me. Under Tom Coughlin, 4-8 for the opening games. 12 years of his career as a Giants head coach. Ben McAdoo, 1-1. Shermer, 0-2. Judge, 0-2. Brian Daboll at this point, 1-1. The home opener is huge. No Giants head coach since Tom Coughlin has won more than one opening week game. But we haven't won a home opener at home since Tom Coughlin. Daboll's 0-1, Judge is 0-2. Shermer didn't have a home home opener game, and Ben McAdoo didn't have a home opening game as well. Let that settle in for a second, guys. We haven't won a week one home game to open the season since 2010. What? Now, there's a little bit of a disparity in that, guys, and I'll kind of rattle off some things here. Over the last 10 seasons, we've had 10 road home openers, 10 road openers, and 3 home games. So this will obviously be another home game added in. So we haven't gotten to play home to open the season very much. But just listen to this. I don't want to bore you too much here, but 2007 at Dallas, loss 35-45. 2008 home against Washington, 16-7 win. 2009 Washington home, 23-17 win. 2010 home against Carolina, 13-18 win. 2011 at Washington, loss. 2012 at Dallas, loss. 2013 at Dallas, loss. 2014 at Detroit, loss. 2015 at Dallas, loss. 2016 at Dallas, win. 2017 Dallas at Dallas, loss. 2018 at Jacksonville, loss. 2019 at Dallas, loss. 2020 home against Pittsburgh, loss. 2021 home against Denver, loss. 2022 first year of Brian Daboll at Tennessee, we get a win. Obviously last year, home against Dallas, loss. I was at that game. It was ugly. I was there with my buddy Anthony. We went down to New Jersey early, watched some games at a bar. Man, I don't even remember what bar it was in New Jersey. I'll have to try to look that up and figure out what that was. And then got our hotel room, and then went to the Giants stadium. Literally walking into the game. Obviously, it's raining. Started to rain. Crowd's going crazy. The first drive of the year, Daniel Jones is driving down, has a couple runs, first downs in the red zone, gets sacked, penalty, kick a field goal, blocked, and just it was so bad. It was such a rough game to watch. I'm not here to rehash that. We don't need to rehash that. I think we all remember the pain of that, but we need to change the trajectory of what we've seen for our openers. And we need to win this game that we have in front of us. We really need to take advantage of the opportunity of having a home game to open the season, guys. So if you're going to the game, get loud, be there, have fun. I won't be at this game. I think I'm going to go to the Thursday night game against Dallas this year on the 26th. It's actually my birthday. Going to go there with my buddies Anthony and Ryan again. Should be a blast. My prediction for this game, guys, 26-18 win. New York Giants get a win. I think the offense looks pretty good. I think the defense looks pretty good. I don't think this really is a game that we should win. So, for me, it's something that let's establish that narrative. Let's beat a team that we should beat early. Let's get off to a good start. 2-0 really is kind of important in this season, but I think I don't want to lose to the Washington Commanders next week. That isn't obvious. You hate to see that. We don't lose to them, but this game to me is way more important to start the year off right, start the year off at home, and show what Malik Neighbors can do, show what Brian Dable's offense can do, and really kind of establish ourselves. If we lose to the Commanders next week, it's probably because Jaden Daniels played out of his mind. I don't really see it any other way. He's going to be a good up-and-coming quarterback. We'll see what happens there. I do think we can beat the Commanders, but this game is important. 26-18 win. Kind of a nail-biter, but I think maybe we score towards the end here just to put the game a little bit out of reach. Whew. Guys, the 2024 NFL season is here. Week 1 is upon us. Some kind of weird things that I mentioned earlier. There are 52 weeks in the season. You get 17 regular season games for the New York Giants that we get to watch. Obviously, there's always a chance of playoffs, but 17 regular season games, 3 hours a game roughly. In a full year, 365 days, guys, there are 8,760 hours. That's a full year of in the terms of hours. Of those hours, guys, you only get to watch the Giants play for 51 hours out of the year, barring overtime. And obviously, guys, too, that's counting commercial. Like, there's so many commercials in the game, guys. 51 hours is that like 1 to 4 window, or 4 to 7 window, or 8 to 11 window when those games are generally taking place. So 51 hours out of a year, 17 regular season weeks, you get to watch the New York Football Giants play. That's less than 1% of the hours of a full year that you get to watch the Giants play. So, guys, Giants fans, NFL fans, put away the pettiness, man. Put away the hate for Daniel Jones. Let's just be fans again, guys. Let's root for the team that we love. Let's root for the Giants that put on the blue. Is this allowed? Come on, let's root for Daniel Jones, guys. We only get to watch these guys play for less than 1% of the year. Let's root for the guys in blue or red as they're playing this week. It's only a short amount of time that we get to enjoy this time, guys. Enjoy it. Watch it. Root for the Giants. Put away the pettiness. Stop bickering on Twitter or X or YouTube or Facebook. Enjoy it. Root for the team. So, guys, one last little exercise I want you to do here. Close your eyes. Breathe. Week 1. Sunday, it's like 1:05. Giants get the ball first. Kickoff was returned to the 2022, somewhere around there. First play, Malik Neighbors lined up on the right. Jalen Hyatt lined up on the right. Hyatt's off the line of scrimmage, Malik's off the line of scrimmage. Singletary's in the backfield. Danny Jones takes a snap, gives a little fake over to Malik Neighbors. Defense bites because they know that our offense is going to be catered to what we can do with Malik Neighbors. So they bite, they come up. What's that leave Jalen Hyatt streaking down the right sideline? Hopefully Daniel Jones hits him in stride. If he doesn't hit him in stride, maybe he just slows down just a little bit to kind of let the ball get to him. That's going to happen, guys. It's the NFL. Touchdown, Jalen Hyatt, first play of the game. In the words of the great Michael Strahan in Super Bowl 42, believe and it will happen. Let's go, New York Giants. I love you guys. Week 1's upon us. Enjoy it. Let's go, Big Blue.